Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 80 of the Xbox For the Gamers podcast. This week, I'm joined by our producer, Cameron.
Hey, hey.
And our wonderful new host, Mr. Keo himself.
Hey, hey.
This week, we're going to probably... What?
I did hey, hey. Hey, hey is my thing, and he just merely goes hey, hey as well.
Hey, hey, hey. Well, what do you want? An extra hay in there or what? I don't know.
So, hay's what horses eat. That's what I was always told.
Nay.
He could have done hey,
exactly,
Saturday, and nobody would have been
No.
Copyright.
This week, we're probably going to be talking about some Sony stuff. I know, it's scandalous. But also there's some stuff around the contender for worst game of the year, which I feel like, it's maybe a little bit early to call it, but I think we're in with a strong contender. And then, we've been playing some video games and all that kind of usual stuff. But first, we'll get into some of our community questions. If my Trello doesn't decide to just completely break when I open the question, we have one here from Zach, Mr. ZNMS. I don't know if this, again, like if I'm supposed to, is that an acronym or is it an initialization? Like, because an acronym, you say what it sounds like, right?
I normally go Zenimus.
Zenimus, yeah, right. Okay, yeah, Zenimus, yeah, that would make sense. Because yeah, right.
That sounds like a Kingdom Hearts villain.
I mean, Zemnis is a Kingdom Hearts villain.
I'm sure he could appreciate that.
Yes, exactly. We have one question in the chat here from a Peony Sunshine. A question: why is Matt's super cool fiance not the new host? I don't know.
Referring to the other question in the Discord, I would think that she'd be too clumsy to host the show.
Yeah, there's a good chance she might trip on the way there. Trip
on the wire. Trip on the internet cable that goes between New Zealand and Australia.
I also apologize for not being Matt's fiance. So
yeah, that's unfortunate. I mean, look, I just want to put it out there. We're very, very happy to have you as our new host. I think like my fiance was in the running for being on the show, but I did remind her that she doesn't fucking play video games. So that I think that was kind of a rough one.
Look, we've already discussed before that. Okay, if we all got our partners on an episode at the moment, it would be Nikita talking about Mortal Kombat.
Yep.
It'd be Allison probably talking about Stardew Valley or
some shit. Yep.
Some Nintendo Switch shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's your partner play?
Zelda, I guess, right?
Oh, well, actually, we could get Dina on to show everyone her Animal Crossing island.
Oh, there you go.
It's pretty mad.
So here it is first. We've got like blood and gore and the Nintendo Switch.
Pretty much, yeah. It's the Doom Guy Isabella crossover from when those games came out on the same day. That was those memes were real good back then.
Oh, man.
Oh yeah, actually Allison can talk about Sunhaven. That is very true.
I have no idea what Sunhaven is.
It's a PC only Stardew Valley style.
I'm sold.
Top down RPG. I mean, like it seemed fine.
Yeah.
I know that's unfair. It actually seems pretty good. Yeah. I think it just came out of early access. But for our actual question, from Zach, who says, so the PlayStation Showcase is come and gone, and we'll talk a little bit about that. And Summer Games Fest is coming up in the next 2 weeks, which is insane to think about. What are you guys hoping to see? Any expectations and so on? The floor's open. I've got some things, but
okay, I'm going to assume this is strictly the Xbox show.
Yeah, let's stick with the Xbox.
Look,
stuff.
I know stuff, and I'm not allowed to say.
Sure, yeah, let's stick with the Xbox stuff then.
Yeah.
All right. So Xbox stuff. Really, I don't really have any expectations going into this, other than obviously like Starfield, because we'll have Starfield. We'll have Forza Motorsport. We'll have. Man, what else will we have?
Yeah,
I really don't know.
Keo, do you have anything that's like top of mind?
More PlayStation games.
Sure. I mean, more things not coming to Xbox. Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Can I actually? You know what? The stuff that I'm excited for at the moment is all third party.
Yeah, which is fine. I think that's perfectly reasonable. Like I think.
Yeah.
Like the stuff that's on my radar is Diablo next month.
Mm-hmm.
Because Diablo.
Yep.
Alan Wake 2 in October, which will be multi-platform. Alone in the Dark looks interesting. I'm not sure if I'm completely sold on it yet.
Yeah.
There's some previews coming up of that now,
Yeah.
though. So
Yeah, I'm curious about that because the last one they did I enjoyed, but it was a bad game. It was a very bad game. It was back when it was one of those classic 360 games, but even then it was bad.
yeah, well, this one goes back to the original.
Yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully a little bit better.
Well, also the Alone in the Dark on the 360 ended on a cliffhanger. Just to give you an idea of how much they thought they were really making a franchise right there.
Yep. In terms of like Xbox stuff though, I don't know. Like I'm going to the FanFest event in Melbourne, and Nikki's come with me this time, so that'll be exciting. But I'm just going in with like zero. I kind of just want to go in with zero expectations.
Yeah. So normally, like I again, don't quote me on this because I can't remember what I ate for breakfast, let alone a year ago. But I get the feeling that I had more expectations last year of what we might have seen, and almost none of them were met. And so this year, I'm like, what are you doing, Microsoft? Like,
Playing it safe.
I'm halfway between like, well, clearly all the stuff they didn't show last year, they're going to show this year. But I'm also half being like, they just don't have anything to fucking show. I mean, like I could start like again, we've listed off games that like where's Avowed, where's Fable.
Will they show off Everwild?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like exactly the
Yeah.
Rares thing. And that's just like the first party stuff. What are their other studios working on? I mean, they've got a few other things in the tank, right?
Yeah, I think they definitely do. I think they have some stuff. So,
I mean, obviously there is that Starfield section, so they're not going to talk about it beforehand, outside of maybe just putting it on a chart or something with a bunch of other things coming to Game Pass. I mean, I think like you said, Cameron, I think what I'm most excited for is that's the thing I really like. So last year I was like, hey, we're missing a lot of this like first party stuff that I thought we were going to see. Like, are they going to show a Gears 6? Because we know Coalition is working on something. They're working on we know they're working on a new Gears game, but is it ready to show? It's not obviously not going to be coming out this year. But I think that the thing I liked about last year's show was there was a shitload of stuff where they're like, hey, this is like 40 games coming to Game Pass in the next 12 months. Fucking strap in. And the only one they missed on was Silksong, which, hey.
I mean,
yeah.
Look, that's getting delayed. That announcement was 2 weeks ago now, and I'm full. Like, if the scope of the game's increased, I'm fully behind them going like nuts with it.
I'd be quite happy for them to just do what they did last year. Then, in that case,
a
roadmap. It's a roadmap.
I don't think they'll do the 12 months.
No, it doesn't have to be, but
I just think that bit them too much in the ass last year.
I don't know. I mean, I think the Game Pass direction makes perfect sense for where they are as a business. I mean, even with all the CMA things, even with Phil Spencer's interview a couple weeks ago, right around the talking about like Xbox being in third place and their strategy having to change, and kind of like even like the thing him come out and saying like, hey, even if we made the best games ever, people wouldn't jump ship. Like even if Starfield is an 11 out of 10, people are already in the ecosystems that they're in. Yeah. And so getting jump ship is just not realistic.
They need at least two things: consistency and restoring the faith a little bit.
Yeah.
So like if they do the same thing they did last year, great. Their last showcase, a few months ago now, was good. So do more of that. So
and to be fair, I mean, like I'm not really I don't really play a lot of the big AAA stuff like day and date. Like obviously that's a big appeal, but like I didn't play Halo Infinite. I haven't played a Gears since Judgment. I mean, I did play Forza Horizon 5, but that was under duress. So like obviously I'm excited for those games to come out because I know people love those series. But really, like I'm interested in the small indie stuff and the third party stuff that gets added to Game Pass, and like like some of this, like Pentiment, for example, was the perfect like this is a first party game. It's a small little thing that not everyone's going to enjoy. It's not for everyone. I absolutely love that game, and I want more of that stuff. I want to see them. I want to see some smaller projects, because I feel like obviously Microsoft needs to hit that AAA stuff because they're getting smashed in that area by both Sony and Nintendo. From when Nintendo actually puts out games. Although to be fair, they did put out this game of the year already, so that's kind of done. But
man,
yeah,
all right, I 100% agree about the indies.
Yeah,
because like this year, like games like Loot River and that hitting Game Pass, like just fill out the roster for me. And I spend quite a bit of time with them. Pentiment, like you said, amazing game. I want more like experimental projects.
Yeah, 100%.
Like Hi-Fi Rush, Pentiment, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, Hi-Fi Rush I completely forgot about, but yeah, it's a great example. Yeah.
It's crazy to like, just taking this aside for a moment, it's crazy to think about too. Like, even if this middle of the year was like a whole bunch of like indie announcements, that kind of stuff, I would be happy for the remainder of the year because of how, like, I am so unsure. Okay. I'm so unsure on like what the contenders will be past for Game of the Year past Breath of the Wild. Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah, I really don't think there is any other, to be honest. I think
that's gonna be it.
I think Tears of the Kingdom has it, but I think there's been so many like Dead Space, for example.
Dead Space was good, yeah, and Resident Evil 4 I think is the other one. I think Resident Evil 4 is probably going to be high on a lot of people's lists. Anyone who doesn't own a Nintendo console is probably going to be picking that.
Spider-Man's coming out, isn't it?
Also true, yes.
That's gonna hit it pretty hard.
A lot of games this year, and I wouldn't be surprised if Xbox doesn't have a Game of the Year contender. I don't like. I think Starfield would be good, but I don't think Starfield's gonna.
I think Starfield has mass market appeal in the same way that Skyrim did, right? In the same way that Fallout does, in terms of like getting into a lot of people's hands, having a low barrier to entry. People really, really enjoy those series and those games. And I think people are going to rate them relatively. It's going to get good reviews almost certainly, and I think it's going to sell well. And I think it's going to end up on some people's lists. I don't think it's going to be a lot of people's like Game of the Year, unless they haven't played a lot else, really.
Yeah. And I guess the one thing I don't want to hear is how they're going to fix stuff. None of that. Just keep it positive. Move on. Whatever's coming. So
I wonder if they address Redfall. We'll see.
Maybe.
It'd be interesting.
I'm sure they've added a couple of extra studios to the pipeline. So
true. Zach, who asked the question, is actually in the chat right now saying that they agree with me that they're mostly into the indie stuff. And that's the thing, is that like the reason I'm so interested in that is because I don't tend to buy a lot of games anymore, right? I tend to play as much as I can out of Game Pass. I have been buying a couple of things here and there over the last few months, as I've been ripping through the Game Pass backlog. But so I'm like, every announcement for Game Pass stuff, I'm like, oh, interesting. I want to check that out. I put it on my play later list. I'm curating a bit of a front log. A backlog. I technically haven't played the games, but I don't know. Anyway,
playing it forward.
Sure. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I'm planning ahead. I have my gaming roadmap, as it were.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely interested, but it's nice that we still get some surprise announcements. I'm hoping they have some nice, interesting surprises or some stuff that we weren't expecting. And by that I mean stuff that will leak 2 days before the conference.
I would love like another like Hi-Fi Rush kind of announcement.
Sure, I could see it. I could see. I don't know who would do it, but yeah. I wonder if they'll announce another studio acquisition. Maybe, I don't know.
I mean, the last year, like I can't remember last year. Did they have one that was like, and it's available in Game Pass now announcement? I know the year before it was the Accuser like a Dragon, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
I think they did have something that was always like it was coming out like the next day or something. I can't remember what it was though. But yes,
well, I guess that's another good thing as well. Like just a good publisher partnership, like something else. So I know a few people are kind of after. Is it the Trials of Cold Steel and stuff like that? It's on PlayStation that people really, really want, like to come over to Xbox, like as the next big thing and stuff. So.
I mean, like I think like that stage is a good place to announce, like with the Microsoft stuff is a good place to announce the any partnerships they have with the third party stuff. I mean, like again, this is a bit pie in the sky stuff, right? But we've seen the leaks for Persona 3 Remastered, right? And obviously Sony didn't show it at their case, and there's Atlas and Sega seem to have a pretty good relationship with Microsoft currently with getting their stuff on Game Pass, and I wouldn't, it would lean into their strategy about trying to basically, break back into the Japanese market. By potentially looking at those partnerships. Again, I don't know if that's the right venue for it, but Atlas and Sega don't really do their own events for the most part.
Yeah.
But again, that was a leak. They haven't officially announced anything yet, so it's like,
Yeah.
And then also I'm curious to see what happens at Summer Games Fest in general. I mean, there's always like I like Jeff Keighley. I'm interested to see kind of what's kind of going on and what people are thinking, even outside of the Xbox sphere. Because as we see, a lot of those games that aren't on Xbox eventually come to Xbox. Even if it's a year later. I'm patient. Anything else on that, guys?
Not really.
No.
I'll be.
Not so much.
I'm whelmed at the moment. I want to be overwhelmed. Like, I just want to be surprised.
For sure.
But I will be. Sorry, I won't be doing my normal tradition. Maybe I'll bring ice cream into Fortress.
Sure, why not?
Usually gets under. Anyway, let's move on.
Get a Maxi Bond. All right. And so thank you, Zach, for the question and for joining us in the chat. I did forget to say at the top of the show, but we do the show live on Twitch if you're wondering who the fuck I'm talking about. Xbox Hall of Gamers is a place to find us. We do the show live each week, usually on a Friday or a Saturday. So come say hi. We have a post in our Discord to let you know when we're going live, but it's relatively consistent. Discord.io/Hall of Gamers is a place to come hang out with us in our community. That's where you get all your updates, find out about the show, chat with our community members, that kind of stuff. All right, well, I'm going to get straight into what we've been playing. Who wants to go first?
I've been away for 2 weeks. Let's
go for it, mate.
Let's just push through it. All right, where do I start? Lego 2K Drive.
Now, I will just say I have been seeing a lot of jokes about the fact that 2K is the amount you need to spend on the microtransactions to actually have any enjoyment in the game.
I'll be honest. I like it, but I don't like it as much as I do Forza Horizon.
To be fair, it's a fucking Lego game with driving, so I mean, it's
like, okay, it's that chaotic kind of Lego game though, where like the early kind of Lego games where it was just like a lot more chaotic. There was like a lot less restrictions.
Yeah, there was the one about the guy who kept stealing pizzas and you had to trace him down Lego Island or whatever. I remember that back in the day. Yeah.
I have no recollection of that.
That might just be a fever dream, but
but
someone out there knows what I'm talking about. Get in the fucking comments and then validate me for this.
I'm just trying to think of like what the earliest Lego games are.
It was an old Lego like PC CD-ROM game. Okay, well, now I'm gonna look this up. But yes, sorry. Continue talking about your racing game.
Essentially, though, like it's very similar to the Forza Horizon DLC. I will say, except there is the just as you're driving around, everything's bricks. You can run over the people and they'll go flying, which is hilarious. There's a lot of like very kid kind of humor in there. There's quest lines. Driving on different kind of environments swaps the vehicle, which is probably the best selling point for the game. But yeah, like you're right. There is transactions. There's like year passes, that kind of stuff. And I played a bit of it. Like I played a few hours of it. I was really enjoying it. And I kind of just like, there's something missing to me, and I can't explain what it is. Forza feels like a lot more Forza feels a lot more polished. I'm not going to hold that against a Lego driving game.
Sure.
But there's just something. It might just be too wacky for me. Like you can press Y, do like high jumps as you're driving, stuff like that. It's very much like that exploration kind of racer. As opposed.
So it's like a Burnout Paradise, but with more ridiculousness.
Yes.
Cross speed racer by the sounds of it. So
yeah, right. That's actually that's.
So yeah, I'm enjoying it, but I'm not enjoying it as much as I hoped I would, if that makes sense.
Sure.
And it's not like, unless you're massively into this kind of thing, it wouldn't be the game that I would rush out and buy.
Gotcha.
Yeah. There's not like the humor is very like 5-year-old like.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is there a story? Is there like a narrative, or is it just like, hey?
He's just becoming like the best racer kind of thing, essentially.
Okay.
Which I mean, it's it's fine enough.
Sure, it's worked for Need for Speed for years on end. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's there's not really much else to say. Yeah, like I said, the environment swapping is definitely like the best feature of it. I'll be interested to see like how the content evolves as they release stuff. I have tried putting together like the vehicles, and that seems like really snappy, but I haven't like really sat down and spent a good amount of time like planning out what. Like I'm still pretty early game, and parts
Snappy,
unlock
huh?
as you go. Yeah, but it look.
it just hasn't clicked for you.
Yeah, it just sounds. Anyway, anyway, I won't talk much about floppy nights because I feel like Matt will probably cover that in
I
detail.
also I just want to say the game I played was Lego Island 2: The Brickster's Revenge, which came out in 2001. The Brickster sounds like some sort of weird sex act, to be honest. But yeah, sure. But, yeah, I'm looking at the cover for this.
It sounds like some 2000s kid you'll meet at a skate park.
Yeah, well, yeah. It's the Brickster is some guy who steals pizzas. Was the whole thing. He was a criminal, and he escapes at the end of the first game. So they had a sequel hook.
Does he have like one of those like curvy mustache?
Yeah, he's got like
Dr. Jefferson's kind of.
He's got the go and Google the stuff right now. He's got the. I'm just gonna post it in the Discord with no context right now.
Sounds like somebody needs to do a retro playthrough.
Oh my god, digging out that game would be a nightmare.
Man, there was a reason why the demo just did so well for Funhouse for such a long time. Like bringing back all those games.
Yep.
Anyway, yeah, Floppy Nights, there's not really much. I think, did you cover it last week or are you covering this week? Or
I'll talk a little bit about it. I sort of mentioned it last week because I did start it, but I finished it as well.
Cool.
So.
Age of Empires Return of Rome. I usually love talking about Age of Empires. Age of Empires 2 is like one of my favorite games of all time. This DLC is a disservice.
Yeah, that's what I've been hearing.
Yeah. 43% Steam review for the DLC within the first few days. When I first launched it, I tried to launch into campaigns because that's what I usually do. Campaigns just completely black screened, couldn't access it. 2 days later, a patch came out, got fixed. During that time, I essentially went through and did skirmish matches, set the score to 5,000, and then it's an instant win. So because this DLC has like, I think 45 new achievements or something like that, you essentially just go and pick your civilization, auto win, achievement pops, move on.
That's a lot of achievements.
Yeah. It was a nice amount of TA just for
yeah, I bet. I bet it must have been inflated as fuck.
20 minutes worth of work. But yeah, the only achievements I have left now relate to the campaign. They've discussed bringing back two specific campaigns and 2 campaigns from Age of Empires 1, but there was a community vote. I'm not sure if that's finished yet. First of all, it's really weird seeing Age of Empire 1 buildings than Age of Empire 2 environments. Age of Empires 1 has this very grey, muddy kind of color scheme to it. Everything's like a lot more ancient civilization as opposed to Age of Empires 2, where you got some like color in the environments. Like, typically I just think of like I think of Wales campaign when it comes to Age of Empires 2.
Yeah, I mean, like Age of Empires 2 really was where the series took off, right? Like, I love the original game. It was one of my entries, like one of my early gaming memories. But 2 is where it's at.
Yeah. So they pretty much just dropped the buildings into the environment.
Yeah, dropped the. Yeah. So the main menu has it basically acts as like a launching hub. You've got Age of Empires 2 Definitive Edition, then you've got Return to Rome. Return to Rome will load you into a completely new menu, which is all your Age of Empire 1 campaigns, which I think there's only 4 off the top of my head, and then you just go in like that and complete them.
So starting with the Battle of Hastings, probably, right? That's that?
No, the ones I've done so far, I did it 2 weeks ago now, and I did most of it. Return to Rome. I know Battle of Athens, I believe, is one of the ones that they're bringing back. The next update. Campaigns. Where is Pirates of I'm gonna butcher this. Pirates of Epirus and
Sure.
Sagan of Ahad. Oh, so there's 3 new campaigns and
Right.
Trajan. So I've done the Pirates one, up to I think the 5th mission. I've just got to do that now. Yeah, it's all right. There's the campaigns like are wildly unbalanced. There's some that are like really easy, that you can just basically summon cavalry and just just stamp your enemies. There's some that are like severely unbalanced. There was like a lot of complaints on the Steam forums about difficulty levels being all over
Well,
the
hopefully they
place.
patch it. I mean, it's the kind of like obviously there's quite a large vocal community to it, and I hope that I mean, again, like it's not like the developers aren't doing anything, right? They do other, they do Age Mythology and
Yeah,
Age of
yeah,
Empires 4 and all that kind of
yeah.
stuff.
You'd
So,
wonder what they're leaning into with this. If
Yeah.
they're adding whole other sections to the menu, what they're planning on doing. So
Makes me wonder who's actually working on the game.
it's the Halo Master Chief collection of Age of Empires.
Yeah,
right.
essentially. He's Relic laid off those 110, 120 staff.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if they were support for the game or if that was something else. But
Relic's done quite a bit of stuff, right?
yeah, I'm pretty sure they've done like a whole bunch of stuff over the RTS genre.
Yeah, well, they did a lot of they did Company Heroes and a lot of Warhammer stuff, which was kind of what put them on the map. And I know the Company Heroes 3 was quite poorly received.
Yeah, I know they helped with Age of Empires 4, but I'm not sure how support is for the other games. But yeah, I'm still going through. I'm still completing it. The achievements don't seem too bad. I think completion's not going to be too difficult. Yeah, talked about Fluffy Nights. Destiny 2 I've gone back into.
Oh boy.
Oh wow.
They just got the latest update,
Yep.
right?
So the Season of the Deep just launched.
Mm-hmm.
I am trying my very best to get the remainder of the achievements without spending any money on new DLC.
Good luck.
So it'll be very interesting, and then I'm going to go back to D1 and see if I can complete them.
What are you missing in 2 then?
So 2, I'm missing 10 and 15 Forsaken Exotics.
Okay.
I'm missing Triumph Seal Collections Badge, 5,000 points, and the Last Wish Raid, which is this week. So I might be able to get the raid done this week. I started last night. I went from 1,600 to 1,650.
Yeah.
And I was just like doing Crucible and a few of the story missions. But like it's enjoyable. Crucible tonight was like really laggy, but I mean, it's whatever. Just want to get it done.
I pretty much have Destiny 1 installed when you go back to that if you want to. It's all level 40 characters for everything. So
Destiny 1's so close to being done on both 360 and the one. I need to find a crew to get it done.
Well, you've got one here. So for both. So
and then the other thing with myself working at Homeseek at the moment, I'm trying to muster up a weekly event on Twitter called City Building Tuesday. So try and get a whole bunch of city building devs together, and just from all the messages out and all that, I've kind of just gotten really interested in city building again. So I fired up Frostpunk on PC.
Oh boy.
Oh dear.
That's a tough completion right there.
Yeah. So I already dived it back during the Hall of Fame. Put about 2 hours into it the other night just because I just really wanted to get my head around the mechanics in that again, and that was just like the first mission. So I don't really have much else to say about Frostpunk at this point, but I'm probably going to be playing it over the next few weeks just because Homeseek and Frostpunk are so similar. Just want to get like a really strong understanding of the mechanics. Yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Right. Cool. Kia, what about you?
Well, it's been a pretty light on couple of weeks for me actually. Really, I've just been doing some stuff with Redfall and trials.
I saw those guides you were putting out for the collectibles.
Yes. Well, that's the thing. I've spent like 3 in-game days, like, well, I mean, like out of like real life days
Mm.
on that thing. So it's like 70 something hours just putting these guides together and just going back and checking a couple of things and making sure that, what I'm saying is actually right. But yeah, so it's just for the Gravelocks for that. So I've been putting those guides together, and then I tested the first part of my guide because I had to go back into New Game Plus,
Mhm.
and I got the remaining 20 Gravelocks I actually needed. So,
Right.
so yeah, so I'm like, oh, I'll just pull up my guide. I don't remember where some of these are. I remembered a lot of them. It was good. So they're pretty much burned into my memory now. Um, outside of that, I mean, actually the final boss in that was terrible.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
It is on my
really
radar to
bad.
play. It just maybe out of morbid
Yeah.
curiosity.
It's like you don't even fight the boss. You just
Uh,
shoot a few enemies and hit a few like targets. That's it's rubbish. But yeah, other than that, I'm trying to get back to finishing Trials of the Blood Dragon.
oh yeah.
Just getting my 100% with that. So I've got a few levels left, but it's just kind of like busy work because I'm focusing mostly on like productivity stuff and tech things outside of that. So yeah. So in terms of Xbox, nothing else.
No, it's fair
So
enough.
mm,
I've been working on a few different things. I played another like 20 minutes of Ni no Kuni 2 before I was like, I need to finish other games before I pop an achievement in this. But I'm like right before one of the first boss. Um, but yeah, I will. I have it installed. I do need to actually get into it. But I keep every time I'm like, I can't in good faith play this right now. I have other shit to do. So I went and did Floppy Nights. I like that game. It's good. If it didn't have assists, it would be a nightmare.
Yep.
mm,
It is with assists, it's pretty easy. Without assists, it would be a really tough tactical RPG. It's yeah, I like the style. The story is cute and inoffensive. But it didn't grab me in the way I was expecting it to. Like I was talking with old mate clown Brad, friend of the show, about this a bit. And him and I both kind of had to play it in chunks because it was like I would like do a couple of missions and then I was be like, I don't really want to start a whole nother mission and start from scratch. And like the missions are quite short for the most part. But there isn't really a huge amount of variety in terms of like tactics well, that's unfair. Again, the game is like tactics based and use cards to summon creatures and use abilities and that kind of stuff. So there is a little bit more to it than just like, creating an army and sending it at someone. But yeah, but it's this is a personal problem on my front is that the whenever you get a deck building kind of thing where it's like, hey, pick whatever loadout you like. I'm like, well, how do I know if it's a good loadout? How do I like? Because my least favorite thing in games is when I was like, I built something like suboptimally or like even just like
yeah, yeah.
poorly. I'm halfway through a mission and I'm like, oh, I'm fucked. I have not because I can't see the future. I have not planned for this eventuality because I didn't get to see the level beforehand, and the game expecting you to restart the entire level. Which again, the levels aren't that long, but it is the kind of thing where it's like it's not a casual game for the most part, right? Like even on the easiest difficulty, you still need to be like sitting and thinking about strategies, about what units you have on the board, what abilities you can use to get more cards, get more energy, use different attacks, sneak around things, making sure you're out of the range of enemies for their next turn and that kind of stuff. There is definitely some thought going into it, which I enjoy, but I can only do it in short bursts.
It's very much like a trial and error kind of situation, and like a game that I market that's quite similar to it. I like with Floppy Nights. I feel like the issue is it's very much one of those on the go kind of games.
Yeah, sure.
Like Floppy Nights on mobile, I could like see
Yeah.
being a thing. Just because you'll be, 20-minute bus ride, you do a mission like every other
Exactly,
day, kind of thing.
It is made to be quite bite-sized because there are quite a few levels in it. And then there's also the challenge levels, which like I like the concept because the challenge levels are actually fun because it's like, hey, we'll give you a set deck. So like you need to beat this, and like they'll rank up the difficulty or they'll change something about the levels. The only problem is that because there's 7 areas in the game. The first 6 have 4 missions, and then the last area has 3 missions. And so each of the original first 6 areas, each of those 4 levels, you have to redo with a challenge setting on top of them with like extra stuff or changes to the map or that kind of stuff, and with a set deck. I enjoyed this a lot, but again, that is essentially you playing through 90% of the game all over again, which I was like, if the game had just been one, well, sure, but if the game was like just challenge modes, where it was like, hey, here's a bunch of scenarios, solve them. That's my shit. I love that stuff because I'm like, cool, okay, I have set parameters, I have a bunch of cards to use. I'm going to try and use, like, I got really fucking good at the game by the end of it. I was like wiping out the entire field in a couple of turns.
With assist mode.
100%. Again, it's like assist mode is so good for this game because it's like at half health enemies, gives you an extra attack for all of your creatures, gives you like extra energy. And I think there's like something else it does as well. Like all of that super useful.
Your commander survives a death.
Oh, that's right. Yes, has one like an extra revive on them. Again, which you probably don't need to use all that often, but it's just a nice safety net because if your commander dies, you're back to the beginning. But yeah, like I said, without that, it would be a pain. But again, I got through it. It took me about just over 10 hours or so. So 10 to 12 is probably about right. Pretty short with assists on. But that is leaving Game Pass. So if you haven't jumped on it, do it quick. I also did Coffee Talk 2, or Coffee Talk Episode 2, Hibiscus and Butterfly. Fantastic game. Absolutely fantastic. Loved it. I mean, again, it is more of the same for the first game. It hit every note that I was hoping it would. They have all the stuff in there. There's some really interesting stuff around like decisions, and they have to do a little bit of thing with items where it's like you can give items to people to sort of change things. It's relatively light. Again, it is very much a chill game where you're just making coffee for people. There's not really any time limits except for the challenge mode. And you just kind of hang out and enjoy the story. It took me about 10 hours again. Yeah, I mean, I definitely recommend it.
That ending though.
Yeah.
That was a gut punch.
Yeah, oh yeah, that was, yeah, it was beautiful, but yeah. If you're going to do it, I would advise if you just want to go through it and just enjoy the story, Neoseeker has a really good guide for the perfect ending, and then what you can do is it'll tell you where you need to make changes. And so what you can do on the save file is go back to a point, make the change, and then jump back to where it impacts. And you don't have to play through all of the other days to get there. And it'll just do the cause and effect thing of actually just making the change here gives you the impact here.
Okay, cool.
Which is nice. But the thing is, you have to do that on your good playthrough, which I fucked up because I did my good playthrough and I did some of that, but I missed one of the endings. And so I did my bad playthrough, but my bad playthrough had so many bad things in it that I had to go back to the start and basically do like another partial playthrough. I
followed Welsh's guide, but there was one. So I did the free playthroughs. The Art Connoisseur one, I'm missing the perfect wedding photo or something like that.
Oh, okay. Yes, you need to do the photo and you need, yeah, exactly. So again, I would say that if you're looking for a text guide, the Neoseeker guide is pretty much flawless. Just make sure to check the little out boxes where it tells you, hey, you'll need to change this to get the normal ending as opposed to the good ending. So just try and get everything that you can for that, and then get the bad ending afterwards. Bad ending's real easy. You just give everyone milk over and over and over again.
Not everyone. Not everyone.
Just about everyone, except for the cat. You give them coffee. But anyway,
which is how it should be in real life, yeah.
Yes, exactly. But yeah, great game, beautiful. Love the music. The music is so good. Writing's good. Characters, I love them. I did have to remind myself a little bit of some of the first game stuff, but it sort of came back to me as I played through it. But yeah, great. It's on game.
I was gonna say there's like so many sweet moments in it.
Yeah, it is really like a beautiful game. Just like the first one was. They've just and now there are a couple of extra tea types that they've added in there. To give you a little bit more variety in the things that you make. So yeah, definitely recommend it.
Did you leave after it craving coffee?
I mean, I don't drink coffee, but I was definitely
both games. I've just left it. I'm like,
well, that's the thing is, I was like, actually, maybe I should try some of these teas. But I'm like, I don't like tea either. It's just hot leaf juice. But the game definitely does a great job of making that stuff all look appealing.
All right, Ted Lasso.
But yeah, so definitely, again, both games are on Game Pass. You should go play them. I also been playing a bit of Soul Hackers 2. as part of like I talked about the other week, as part of the Achievement Hunters Anonymous book club. So I am at the about 12 or 13 hours in. I've been mainlining it because you need to do 2 playthroughs. You have to do New Game Plus to get all the achievements. So basically, my strategy has been just to mainline the game for my first playthrough and then do like 100% playthrough my second playthrough.
Yeah. Okay.
So I am in the final area. I am a bit underleveled, unfortunately, because of what I've been doing. So I'm struggling a little bit. It's like I talked about last week. It is a Shin Megami Tensei style game, same creatures, similar style battle system to Persona. It's a little bit. It doesn't have quite as much style to it. It's a bit more cyberpunky, but not in like a cool, fun way. It's kind of like in a just like, oh, cool technological way, which it's fine. It's fine. I do take some issue with the story. I think that the reason why a lot of like the reason a lot of people play JRPGs is for that narrative, and the games tend to be longer to give you more time to build up, plot lines and storylines and all that kind of stuff. This game rushes through quite quickly. I think mainly because it expects you to do a main story mission and do like a shitload of side quests. But like if you're just doing the story, it progresses so quickly that it's kind of like, okay. And again, a lot of reused assets. It's a fine game. It's like a 7 out of 10. So I will finish it. I'm going to try and get to the end of it maybe this weekend, at least for the first playthrough. And then I'll do more cohesive, but this will probably be the last time I talk about it unless something really jumps out at me. And then just because I was looking for a couple of other things to kind of break up my time, after I finished Floppy Nights, I didn't really have something that I really wanted to sink a lot of time into. So I played another Site, which was a Games with Gold, maybe a year or two ago. I don't remember exactly. Where essentially it's a side-scrolling platformer where you play a blind girl, or a girl who is now gone blind, but she can hear things see things when there's some sort of audio component, allows you to like see whenever there's sounds. And you also play through a cat who has perfectly normal vision, but obviously can't like interact with switches and stuff. And so you're switching between the two of them. It's a short game. It's like 3 to 4 hours.
Games with Gold, yeah, a few months.
Yeah, Games with Gold, yeah, a couple of years ago.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it was fine. Like it was pretty good. The story is kind of weird. It has like Thomas Edison and Monet and Tesla and Jules Verne and like just all kinds of weird stuff. And like again, like the narrative is kind of told through these little comic booky kind of stills with voiceovers. You can tell it's kind of a little bit of a budget game. It was obviously like a bit of a passion project. It's fine. It's interesting. It's not like mechanically amazing, but it's got some interesting puzzles. It kind of reminds me of like a Limbo kind of style thing. Obviously not quite as stylized as that, but it's a solid game. There are a couple of video walkthroughs. Welsh has a guide for it, but realistically, all you really need to know are the where the collectibles are, because there are a bunch of them. So if you just, I think Bad Driver has a video guide for it as well, where you can just click on the hyperlinks to go to where the collectibles are, which makes it nice and easy. And then I also started the Resident Evil 8 DLC.
Oh, nice.
Because I've had that for a while now and just never got around to it.
Yeah.
I'm really fucking bad at Resident Evil. So I'm playing through the DLC. So the DLC is in 2 parts. It is the Mercenaries mode. They've added in 2 new maps. And they've also added in 2 new characters. You can play as Heisenberg and Lady D. Big step on me, lady. Which is great because you can also use them for getting the S ranks in the base game, which is really, really helpful because that Mercenaries mode is a pain in the ass and I hate it. So I've been playing through so I played through it to unlock her and played through the 2 new maps, unlocked her, got S rank, and she is cleaning up. I've gotten triple S ranks on a bunch of these things and I'm not even that good at the game. The factory level is the only one I'm really stuck on. But it is basically like go in there and just kill things and try to combo enemies together and just try and get to the end. I haven't quite figured out the strategy for factory because it's quite a maze. But that's been good to get through, just kind of, tick off the list. It's been sitting there for a long time. The other part is a sequel it's kind of a sequel story to to Resident Evil 8, where you play as Rose 16 years later, going into some weird mind kind of trippy. Anyway, I don't want to spoil anything, but it's kind of just like a small scenario. I think it's like 3 to 4 hours long. I'm playing through on hardcore and I'm getting my ass handed to me. I'm clearly, I know that quite a few people have done it. People have said it's a 4 out of 10 difficulty. I'm finding it more like a 7 myself. So it's not as hard as like some of the other bullshit, but I am bashing my head against it a little bit because it's just like the controls and stuff. And obviously you're supposed to be underpowered and trying to dodge. And as Alison suggests in chat, yes, getting good would potentially make things a lot easier.
Is that third person?
Yes,
Or
that is a third.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
this
yeah.
also came in with their third person mode. So you have to
Yep.
play through this in third person. So it has very like Resident Evil 4 vibes to it, where you're kind of creeping around the castle, but also it has like a mind screwy thing where the castle isn't laid out exactly how it was in real life. So you go through a door and you're in a different area, and there's other things happening, and it's interesting. I'm enjoying it. I'm just having to repeat a lot of sections. So we'll see. But I'm definitely going to do more of that because I am having a good time with it. But that's pretty much me. I mean, again, like I'm kind of jonesing for like what my next Game Pass thing is going to be. Like I'm sort of chipping away at Soul Hackers, but I need like a good project game to really sink my teeth into. So that might be Ni no Kuni 2. It might be something else. I'm just kind of looking at Game Pass going, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, and I've just been trying to I've been trying to line up a bunch of stuff to either stream or not stream. So I'm like, what am I doing here and what am I doing there? So yeah.
I also again, I don't really have much to say, but I started Minecraft Legends with Athos.
Nice. Yep.
I did like the first like couple of battles or whatever, we're like maybe an hour in. It's a fun little game. It's a bit janky, and like I feel like it's a little bit hard to like kind of figure out what the fuck's going on. I think it's quite like overwhelming and confusing because it's just like a shitload of fighting happening, and because it's like an RTS, but you're not top down, you don't really have like a easy way to draw a box around things and go fight here. But anyway, but we're enjoying that. I might try and recruit a few other people to jump on that because you can do 4-player co-op. But yeah, so that's me.
Cool.
Do we just want to quickly go through our leaderboards and completions while we're here, Cameron?
Yeah, may as well.
So for our leaderboards, in third place, we've got MC Panda's Gamers with 19,000. We have Mad Eye Pad Eye with 58,555. And then we have Kruger with 94,480 points this week. That is absolutely fucking insane.
What are they doing?
I mean, they're doing G-Task is what they're doing.
Yeah.
But
I guess, yeah.
But like that's unbelievable.
Cool. Right.
And then for completions, we got quite a few. It's been a busy week for people. So Firehawk finished up Redfall and Floppy Nights. Dish finished up Cuphead. Nice job.
Yep.
Jake finished up Soul Hackers 2 and Deathloop. Him and I have been talking a bit about those games. Moonzom finished up Hoa. Lefty finished up Hitman Absolution and Forza Horizon 4. Nice job on that one in particular. Baron finished up Grounded and Eastern Exorcist, which again is recently on Game Pass. Apparently it's not great. The Tolinator finished up Knockout City just before the server closure, so good job there. Anubis finished up Halo 3. And then Drunken Monkeys at the last minute just finished up Rogue Legacy 2, which is an insanely difficult game. That game has a 10 ratio.
I was going to ask, Eastern Exorcist, isn't that early access as well?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I was looking at it because it's in my play later list.
There is something about that though. Yeah, it's something different.
Maybe it should be in early access. I don't know. But yeah, so that's kind of so we've got quite a few completions this week. So good job, guys. Some tough ones in there as well. Now, Cameron, you've grabbed us some news for this week. What have you found?
All right, so let's just start. Let's just rip the Band-Aid off. Yeah, Gollum. All right, so
I mean, look, we had Tears of the Kingdom and we had Gollum, and it's going to be a real hard pick this year at the Game Awards.
Yeah. So, Lord of the Rings Gollum is the worst reviewed game of 2023. The game was released this week for PC, PlayStation, and Xbox. I know that Digital Trends started off their article. In the first 2 hours of gameplay, Gollum crashed 11 times on us. So we could not, in good faith, critique this game. We will instead offer you a preview of the day prior to day one patch.
Yeah.
But yeah, worst rated game of 2023. Skill Up's review for it was, this is lower than your lowest expectations or something along those. Yeah.
And I
Yeah, I
watched
saw
that
that
video and wow.
Oh, jeez.
Mhm.
I like his justification though. Just like, yeah, like indies, I'll give a break. Double A's, I'll give a break. If you're gonna release a 70, $60 game like this and expect to be let off, yeah, you got another thing coming.
Also, game journos are having a great time with their fucking headlines for this game. Was it Boiler Mash and Throw 'em Away? I think was one of the
Not So Precious.
Yeah. There's some good ones. They're having a good time.
But yeah, the PC version is currently sitting with a Metascore of 43, one place behind Clive and Wrench, which has a Metascore of 50. However, the PS5 version of Gollum has been even well less received, placing it on the list at 296 with Metascore of 38.
Yikes.
Yeah, so there's not really much to say about this game other than, Todd, why do you want to buy this?
Yeah, Todd, like, what? What do you... Yeah.
Todd gives the message just like, we want to... I want to check it out. And I'm like, look, I get it, yeah. You Kiwis and yeah, Lord of the Rings and
look. I'm not one to say that I will not play bad games. All right, I can usually find something, and sometimes that is just getting an easy 1,000 points out of it. Okay, even I'm probably going to give this one a miss, even if I got it for free.
One of the decisions is whether or not you eat a bug or not. For fuck's sake.
Well, actually, there's a $10 US cosmetic pack, which is like voice acting, voice acting being like pay gated.
Yeah.
What was it like for?
Some emotes.
As Skill Up put it, it was
lore
accurate voiceovers.
Yeah.
PC Games End said, from exhausting repetitive gameplay to a poorly constructed narrative, this is a piece of Middle Earth you should never explore. I did see there was some people have been taking. I mean, again, the internet is awash with screenshots from this game.
Yeah. And I saw one that was like this amazing screenshot of an orc or whatever towering over Gollum, and it just says like, "Give bread or get aggressive or be aggressive or whatever." And then basically someone has like photoshopped bread to say head. Just top post on Reddit, and I was like, wow, this is the legacy of that game.
Mm-hmm. Just trying to see what other games did Alec make.
Well, because they published it, right?
Oh yeah, it would have been what's his name? Let me find out. No, developer and publisher.
Yeah, okay, that's good. Yeah.
Why did I open a Steam page? I'm gonna immediately get music. Nacon helped.
Right. Yes, I knew there was someone else involved. Yeah.
Mostly negative, 34% on Steam out of 93 reviews. Man, $78 Australian. Jeez. Yeah. So it's not going. It's not going good. I was expecting it to be a mediocre launch. I wasn't expecting it to be this bad.
I had a feeling it was going to be pretty rough from the get go, considering how many delays they've had. Considering they didn't show anything that looked good.
Yeah,
like it is actually. I mean, it is. It's amazing that a game this bad can be made and be sold
in 2023.
PS2 faces on PS3.
Yeah. But yeah, I think we're gonna give that one a miss.
Yep. Next one I have here is: did you hear about the story of Microids reversing their decision to snub Xbox for a new game following fan demand?
I thought you were going to say that the tragedy of Darth Plagueis the Wise there for a second. But yeah, actually, you won't even get that reference anyway.
Yeah, I won't.
But yeah, I did see this. It kind of was weird. I was on TA as an article, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" Yeah.
So essentially, Inspector Gadget was originally announced for PlayStation, Switch, and PC, and then Xbox fans kind of just went to Microids, just like, "Oh, what's the go? Like, hey, like, why are we getting snubbed?" And an Xbox version wasn't planned. They're a publisher that usually does like all platforms. kind of really didn't make any sense. They then put out a tweet saying that if Microids got enough of a demand, if the demand was strong enough, they would release the game. 10 Twitter comments later.
That's all I needed. That's all they needed.
I'm not convinced this game's going to go anywhere. It's just, it's almost like one of those Twitter trolls where you put, you're asking for something, but you just, the people are going to respond in a certain way.
Yeah.
And it's not going to, no, I don't think this is anything.
So many Twitter users picked up on the reply and called on Microids to release an Xbox version of the game. Several hours later, the publisher announced that Inspector Gadget Mad Time Party would get a digital release on Xbox Series X and S and Xbox One. Xbox gamers, we've heard you loud and clear, Microids said. Aware of the strong demand for this title, we have worked hard, and now we can assure that Inspector Gadget Mad Time Party will be available on both consoles in digital format.
They probably just, someone forgot to put it on the
or it was an afterthought and they're just saving face.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Almost. Yeah, potentially. Who knows? Right. Yeah. I mean, probably play it. MGB Live, Inspector Gadget. Yeah, like shovelware. I mean, yeah, it's probably going to be a trash game. I mean, again, it's just funny that this controversy quote unquote happened at all.
I mean, this looks like one of those like outright game, like
sure,
published kind of games. I'd get behind it.
Of course you would. I mean, I'll probably, it'll probably come to Game Pass at some stage. Who knows?
Yeah, eventually. But yeah, I just thought it was a very funny story just because of all that. All right. Rewards balance is to be displayed alongside gamer score. So Xbox is making some rather nifty changes to its Microsoft rewards balance, putting it in a prominent spot on the Xbox dashboard right next to your gamer score. As announced last week, Xbox will soon be bringing your Microsoft rewards balance front and center on the Xbox dashboard with a new update, which is currently only available for Xbox insiders in the Alpha Skip Ahead and Alpha Rings. What do we think?
Yeah, well, I mean, the big thing with this dashboard stuff was that there's a lot of personal information that was up on the screen, I think, for streamers, like over the last couple of weeks or something. There was some stuff kind of showing up on people's dashboard, like personal information.
I mean, your email address shows up if you leave it there long enough.
Wish that would just go away. I kind of just have my overlays over the top of it because it's not the email address I use for my other content.
Sure. So, yeah.
Like if somebody's going to use that email address in particular for me, I've got 6. It's gonna it's gonna get ignored.
Sure, but it's like all it takes is one mistake, right? And like that's the internet.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
No, I understand what you mean. I do like this new dash though. It does look like it's giving more prominence to the background display. Obviously, we don't sit on the dash just to look at the background display. But it does look nice. I'm personally not a fan of having reward points next to gamer score. I think it muddies it depending on what kind of player you are, especially if it's like similar.
You should be spending them anyway, so they should be close to 0 as possible.
I usually do, but I know like Vudix, for example, is like racked up massive reward
you
points.
You have a yearly limit of how much you can spend, so you might as well spend every year as much as you can.
And I'm pretty sure he always cracks every year.
Yep. Yes, he does. That's what happens when you buy every fucking video game.
Yeah, this is true. But yeah, I personally wish there's an option just to turn it off. I'd much rather just keep the gamer score there. Personal preference. But yeah, I did like the look of the new dash, just to give some more promise to the background.
I'm glad they're keeping pins for a start, because I've one of the things I did, which I wish I could do a lot more with my games and apps, is I made groups based on genres, and then I just went through my own games and then just pinned every single one to a group. And now I don't even have to go to my games and apps because all my racing games are on the dashboard in a pile, and my shooters and Resident Evil games, stuff like that. So so that's really good. Actually, but I wish the whole thing was modular. Just to put things where you want them.
Would be really nice if I could. I mean, like, look, I know it's a pain in the ass to do, but like, I would love to have like a started, not started category, because that's kind of what I did with the pins. I just created a category. It was like, hey, all the games that I haven't started versus all the ones that I have. So at least I know I'm like, okay, here's stuff that I have to work on, and here's my options of things that I can work on.
I want more options around that. Have you guys noticed? I'm not sure how often you guys buy your games through Xbox, like on the PC.
Every now and then.
Yeah, but
Mm.
I feel like the genre tags and all, like how the format used to be, like it was very slow loading. You'd have to refresh it multiple times. I think they've fixed part of it now.
Really? Oh,
Like
I haven't.
one section of the website loads really fast, and then I go back to the old format, and then it's just like this, still the same slow.
Right.
Like yeah.
Yeah, I haven't really. Again, I
Yeah.
don't. Again, I don't really buy a lot of games, so it's. Yeah, I usually like either buy them on the Xbox itself or get codes or whatever.
Xbox Hall of Gamers in the chat says bring back Snap, and I fully agree.
Yeah, Snap. Oh, okay, yeah, Snap. Yeah, that feature that no one used.
I used it. I was the only goddamn person.
Yeah, that's surprising that you the one person who used it, and also you also happen to be the person. Surprisingly, the person running the podcast.
You know what I used it for? I used it for putting other consoles through the HDMI in of my other Xbox One.
I did that too. I did that.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
It was a nice point in time where they gave us an extra HDMI port, so we could just not have to worry about picking up a TV remote.
Oh, yeah, exactly right. It's a hard life. It's a real hard life.
2013 to 2020 were the best years of our life.
Oh my god, it's the worst years for Xbox.
It made up for the first party.
Yeah. Yikes.
Yeah. Anyway,
what else? What else we got?
All right, let's talk about. All right, we'll talk about the Sony showcase the other day. So, following Sony's PlayStation showcase, Microsoft was quick to confirm which games were also going to come to Xbox, and while the likes of Alan Wake 2 were already revealed, there was still a few surprises. First of all, did you guys watch the Sony showcase?
I saw it. Yes, I did.
Okay.
Yep.
I caught the trailers afterwards because I was working at the time.
Same. I caught the trailers afterwards as well.
Mhm.
General consensus.
The initial thoughts, I thought the actual showcase itself was good. And then I started reading the stuff afterwards, and people are like, "Oh, there's no Sony first party stuff." And I'm like, "Well, everything they showed was good. It just ended up just being trailers."
They showed
and stuff.
Spider-Man though, didn't they?
At the end, they had a massive playthrough of like a section. Yeah. It was like, I don't know, 10, 15 minutes or something. Yeah.
I saw a few comments just celebrating the diversity of content.
Yeah.
Which I like to me this okay, this is gonna sound weird. It sounded like it seemed like it was an Xbox showcase.
Similar style. Yeah, I get what you're saying. I think that I think to what Keo saw in terms of people being like, where's the first party stuff? That is one of the weaknesses of Sony's model, right? Is that when they do these big first party exclusives, considering they don't have a huge amount of studios that they own, they're limited in the number of AAA things that they can get out there reasonably that meet that level of quality. So, when you get like a God of War, which blows away the competition and, is like, a lot of people's game of the year for that year up against Elden Ring. You can't be like, well, we're gonna do another one for this year. It's like, well, they're like, oh, where's this? Where's where are the 3 AAA games for this year? And it's like, well, you're getting one because that's what it takes to make one of these fucking games.
Everything that people were expecting, like Last of Us factions and stuff like that people just want information. There's just nothing there.
Yeah.
And it's their only show in 2 years. So, and they got Spider-Man, which we knew Spider-Man wasn't not going to be at the show.
I mean, it's coming out like in a couple months. So yeah.
And it wasn't co-op.
No, it was never going to be co-op.
Which is what they said 2 years ago, and it's still a new story.
Suddenly became a news story again. Yeah.
Oh, I just found that so funny. But so Xbox quickly revealed after 12 games that were coming, which include Immortals of. Okay, I might need to help you with. Like, I haven't watched all of the trailers. Immortals of Avium.
I don't have the list up in front of me.
Avium,
so I don't...
Avium. Yep.
I honestly don't know anything about the game.
Actually, it's a nice looking first person shooter.
Yeah.
Like online kind of.
Cross between like Tekken spells and stuff. So I guess so. It looked actually pretty good.
Yeah.
So.
So that's interesting. Mirage coming October 12th now, so we're gonna release
I am very excited for this. It is, I mean, it's essentially a remake of Assassin's Creed 1 and all but name, right? They're like the
Yes.
style is the same. They've yeah.
Spiritual remake though, yeah?
Yes,
Not
it's-
remake.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like again, you're not playing as Altair necessarily, but
It's more of a spiritual reset.
Yeah.
sure, yeah,
That's
yeah,
probably a better
yeah.
way to describe it, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. I'm really interested with Mirage as well, but I've been burnt before.
Me too. But I think that they've kind of realized. Well, again, I want to see more of it from like a more like gameplay perspective, because this was not like it wasn't a cinematic trailer, but obviously it wasn't like a walkthrough. It was very much a
it's the Assassin's Creed Rogue to Black Flag, which is going to be the new big. I think it's the smaller game amongst the big game. Kind of deal. So
and it looks like it's going back to those kinds of more traditional routes instead of having your sort of Destiny style gear and Witcher style combat.
It's one Assassin's Creed that plays like Assassin's Creed.
It's been a few, like you joke, right? But it's been years. Like we had 3 games in 5 years since that.
Rick, you just wait for my guide on how to collect all 100 feathers when they don't give you any. When they stop putting stuff on the map.
Can you make that for me, please? Please.
Altair, you are an assassin. Now go and collect 480 flags. That first game was a nightmare.
I need to do it still, and I don't want to.
One of the most interesting like tech demo like that was like one of my first E3s where I saw that trailer and I was like, this is the future of video games. And then I played it and I'm like, man, the future of video games sucks. It's the same 3 missions over and over again, sitting on a fucking bench.
Who knew you were going to do that for 10 years?
Yeah, right. And then they were like, yeah, let's do this yearly.
Oh boy.
Some good games in there though.
Alan Wake 2.
Yes, this looks so amazing.
Digital only.
Yes, which is, I guess, sort of.
It's okay, but
they said that the remaster for Alan Wake didn't sell well. So when I read that, I was like, all right, I completely understand it if that's the decision that they're going with. It's like it still sucks a bit, but I feel it's going at the times.
Yes, I was going to say it's. I think realistically, it doesn't make any difference because I was never. I don't buy games physically. I have not bought a physical game.
But I know people that.
Yeah,
sure, I think the majority of the audience.
They can't justify how big the game's probably going to be that fits on those discs, and they'll just be like, "Well, we're not selling a DRM access key. Let's just do digital."
Yeah, and I can definitely.
And it's being
see that.
honest, maybe. So,
and I think realistically, we're going to see more AAA devs going in this direction of just being like, well, digital's the future. We don't want to spend all the money on distribution. I mean, that was the thing about digital, right? Was that like they didn't have to spend the money on printing and distribution. They didn't have to cut in EB Games or all the other fucking retailers. And the only reason they were doing it is because the retailers were the one who sold consoles. But now you can buy consoles directly from the manufacturers.
Yeah.
They saw the silver lining with Crossfire X's story and then just rolled with it.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
We can delist this whenever we want if it's bad.
Yeah.
I guess it's better than them putting out like a deluxe edition or that without the disc.
Yeah, sure. I mean, look, like I'll wait till it comes to Game Pass probably because I'm almost certainly will.
This is day one for me.
You think? I mean, like, I will wait for reviews, but I am excited because
very close to day one. This is a Jedi Survivor kind of
Survivor level. Yeah, exactly. Waiting until they fix it with patches and then buying it. Yes, that's the correct answer.
I want the best possible experience when somebody else has fixed it for me.
For sure.
They could. Teardown looked interesting.
Yeah, that's been around for a while. It's like it is like the best destruction playground ever made, in my opinion. You need a beefy machine to run it on PC though.
Yeah.
Like it's the kind of thing where you need to have like a 3080 to really, if you want to crank it, because it renders pixels and it's a physics engine basically. So it's So putting it on consoles is really interesting. I'll be curious to see kind of how it works.
The Talos Principle 2.
Yeah, this was a surprise. I didn't know about this.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like this has come up before, though. Or has it been out on a different platform? Or no,
it's probably been talked about. I probably just missed it, to be honest.
Yeah.
I
But
feel
I really enjoyed the first game.
I feel like that's flown under my radar though, because there's been more viral tweets about there was another game coming out. I think it's published by Devolver, where you're like looking through the different lenses, and that's like that kind of puzzle. It was shown at one of the showcases. It was at the Game of the Year Awards.
I kind of know what you mean. I know what it
The
is.
one
but
that there was the tweet, and then they looked through, and it was like a different lens. I'll find it after.
Okay.
I can't think of the name right now, but it's like very much a witness / the Talos principle, like / kind of
the Looker. Yeah.
the looker.
Yeah. So and apparently this is the first time they've announced Talos Principle to it, like officially.
Yeah.
So this is like our first look at it, which is really cool. Like, I mean, like I said, I really enjoyed the first one. It's so interesting that
How
it
old
even
is
got
the first
made in
one?
the first place.
How old is the first one now?
It's got to be coming up on like, what, 2017 or something?
Yeah, so like, have they been working on this for like 6 years? Or
No, I don't think so. Because I mean, this is these are the Serious Sam guys, right? This is Crow Team.
Oh, is it? Okay. I wasn't sure of the team.
Yeah, so Crow Team did the original, and they're doing this one as well. But like, that's why the environments are all those ruins in the first game, is because they use the environments they use from Serious Sam 3.
Makes sense.
Okay.
Clever. Very clever.
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed the first one. I mean, again, it is philosophy bullshit, like thought experiments and kind of like, what is a real. But I don't know. Like 2014 is when it came out, so it's been almost 10 years.
Damn.
Yeah,
I was gonna say it felt like a while. Like it felt like a mid 2000 like 2010s kind of game.
Yeah.
But yeah. Plucky Squire, which is one that I'm really excited for because it gives me the vibes of what was that cartoon book one that I played not too long ago? There's been a few of these kind of style games that have
like Lost Worlds.
Nah, not
Lost Words.
Like Lost Words is along a similar vein. Like just the pop-up kind of style.
Yeah.
There have been a few games that have done it over the last few years, including Lost Words. Words. Yeah, anyway.
Yeah.
But Plucky Squire is probably like the other indie that I'm like most interested for this year, outside of Benedict Fox, which I've obviously already completed.
Yeah, my only concern with that is that where the variety in the content is it too much different variety and not like fulfilling content of each type of, like, you're on the page for a minute and then you're in 3D worlds for how long, and then you go back and you do this puzzle, or I mean, if it's just purely like a bunch of different puzzles in different themes, then I mean, you're either getting too much or not enough of everything.
I mean,
so
realistically,
it's a hard balance for sure.
Yeah.
Realistically, these kind of games, though, I just want something that's like a Ravenlock kind of experience. One night.
Oh, that was good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it might be a bit deeper than that because they've been working on this for a long time.
Did they announce the Devolver Showcase 2 years ago?
Yeah, a couple of years ago, right? Yeah. And they had the guy at one of the panels we went to at PAX Australia was one of the devs on it.
Okay.
And he sort of talked about it a bit.
Ghost Runner 2.
Sorry, Ghost Runner 2. Yes, this looks fucking great.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off then.
No, that's all good. Yeah, I was just saying. I was just about to say, like, I still haven't finished the first one yet.
Yeah.
Oh,
it's that
one game that I bought you.
Yes, yes. I figured I would just get that out of the way before you brought it up.
Is the first one exactly the same as style, like the first person kind of thing?
Yeah, like Mirror's Edge, first person. Yeah.
I need to check it out then. Never got to.
It's a good game. It's just difficult.
It is tough.
Yeah, okay.
It is very tough. Yeah. Well, not very, very tough, but it is challenging.
Yeah. It's been on some pretty decent sales over the time though. Like, I definitely recommend picking it up, but it might not be everybody's cup of tea just because of how difficult it is.
Maybe it's modern enough that they'll give you an assist mode then.
I think they might actually have some sort of assist in the first game as well.
Oh, maybe. Okay.
I don't think it's like a super helpful assist, but I believe they do have some stuff.
The one that I was probably most excited out of the whole showcase, from the same devs as Gris, Never.
Yeah, Never looks beautiful.
Like, next year, the art style looks incredible. But I mean, like, what do you expect? Like, what less do you expect from that team? I'm really pumped for this one.
Yeah,
I feel like this is going to be end of next year, kind of.
Yeah, again, like this is only a reveal trailer, right? They didn't show like any like gameplay or anything like that. It's very much just like, hey, we're doing this thing and it looks great. 2024, so.
Cat Quest, Pirates of the Caribbean.
I love the art style of this.
Yeah.
It
I
looks
feel like this
really
is a port,
good. I think
or it's like a
it's been around, I think. I don't know if it's out, but it's definitely getting around. It's been announced before. So
Yeah, because the original Cat's Quest came out in like 2017, so I think this is like because Cat's Quest 2 was the one I think was like did really well on Steam, and this is kind of this is like Cat's Quest 3, I think technically. Looks good though. Yeah, looks great.
Looks interesting.
Like, yeah, it's the kind of like game that I tend to enjoy. So I might look at that, assuming it's not too ridiculous.
Next up, we have Dragon's Dogma 2.
Yes.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong. They're also making a animation from the same guys.
Well, they did do
Yeah.
they did one. They're going to do another season. It looks like.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a Netflix thing, isn't it?
Was it the same team that did Castlevania, or am I mistaken?
Well, because it's Capcom, Capcom and Konami, so different.
Oh, okay.
No, so not the same team, but
sorry, that did the TV series.
TV series. No, I believe it's a different team.
Okay.
I at least I hope so because the Dragon's Dogma cartoon was very mid. It was a very
I
much
heard that. Yeah.
It was a like Castlevania was like a 9 out of 10 most of the way through it. Whereas Dragon's Dogma was like a 6 or a 7. It was fine, but like it was especially if you play the games. But also like to be fair though, the voice actor in Japanese for the dragon, top fucking tier. Like Japanese, like there's that certain kind of Japanese voice, like voice actors who just have that level of gravitas that works perfectly for like ancient, beasts and dragons and just like, wise beyond their years and huge and monstrous. Whereas in English, it just didn't sound all that threatening or interesting at all, unfortunately. But then I'm also like subtitles versus dub anytime. But that's the hill I will die on.
Next up, we have Marathon from Bungie.
Yes, which is interesting. It's very interesting.
I'm watching the trailer now. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I mean, I've played the original Marathon, back in the day. It is essentially was a Doom clone. So like they can kind of go wherever.
Based on something?
Yeah, well, yeah, because so Bungie's original. So this is what Bungie made before they made Halo.
Yeah, they made the first Marathon, and then they did Durandal for the 360.
Yeah, it was way before that, but they ported it to the 360.
Yeah.
So again, it was kind of like Doom 1 and 2 kind of things, or like that kind of style of boomer shooter.
Yeah, I think Bungie said that they were going to be multi-platform anyway, like despite anything Sony wanted to do, so it didn't really matter. So it's
Marathon
good.
technically being a Sony first-party game, which is funny, but to be fair, Bungie did say that anything they were currently had in development would still be cross-platform, even if they got bought.
I mean, it more so comes down to just Bungie being a massive like money, like just the amount of money that they pull in through Destiny is crazy.
Yeah. Well, like that Destiny's not going anywhere, which makes sense.
And just further. Like, going back to it, like, weren't we talking about, like, the retention, the talent, like, being so, like, up to, like, $1 million for some people?
That's the tricky bit, right? Whenever you buy studios, you got to pay the devs a lot of money to stick around for a few years making some games before they fuck off to make their own studio and then resell it to you.
Yeah, I'd have to go back and have a look at what they've said before, but they've been hinting for a very long time that they had something else coming.
Yeah.
So it'd be interesting to see how similar this would be to Destiny, in the end, like in terms of like the way that they build the game structurally, like, transactions and
or like even again, because it's like this trailer is a cinematic trailer, right? So I don't know what we'll see about it, but I mean, like I didn't like Marathon didn't really leave much of an impression on me. Like again, I'm a little bit too old for that, I think. But who knows?
And what else do we have? Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater.
Oh my god! Oh, I'm so excited! I'm so fucking excited.
I'll be
We're-
honest. I like. I'm kind of like. I saw the Metal Gear Solid collection, the original trilogy, coming to PS5,
yeah,
and then heard about apparently coming to other platforms.
yeah.
That is what I'm excited to play Metal Gear One again.
Yes, Metal Gear One
Yeah.
is because that's like
Yeah.
impossible to play. Basically, I mean,
Yeah.
I already have the collection for. They already have the 360 versions of 2 and 3.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I don't necessarily need to play through those again. But one would be great to play through again because
You
it's
can't
my
play that on anything at the moment, I
Yeah.
don't think.
no, like I think it is like I think you can like play it through PlayStation Now or whatever, backwards compatible or whatever. But that's pretty much it. So if you're an Xbox player, you should have luck.
Yeah. But oh man, I still like. I just want to finish. Like I've played Metal Gear Solid One up until the end of the first disc, and I've played Ground Zeroes and Phantom Pain, and
Yeah,
that's my extent. Yeah, I want to
Okay.
experience the earlier stuff.
Yeah, I mean, look, Snake Eater is like 1 is my favorite. I
Yep.
think that like, but 3 is probably the best game.
I've played quite a few of them, but not 3.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I played 1 and 2. I've played 4 in its entirety, believe it or not.
Wow.
Seen the game.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, yeah,
Um,
isn't forced
I literally, I mean, again, because I
Yeah.
never owned a PlayStation 3, I
Yeah.
literally watched an entire YouTube video of basically that entire game because
Yeah.
it is a movie. It is a long, it's a fucking TV series.
Yeah, and then 5. I technically have Portable Ops, which is supposed to be canon. In one of the PSP games, but I haven't played that one yet either. So,
I
but
got
yeah.
Peace Walker sitting here
But
as well.
the thing to note with this is that the collection is volume 1, so we have to see what comes next, what they're gonna do.
The rumor was that Volume 2 is going to be it was Peace Walker, Portable Ops, and Metal Gear Rising.
Oh
Apparently,
yeah, Rising. Really need to go back to that.
technically part of this series.
Yep.
Where's the online game fit into all this?
Yeah, Metal Gear Online. Oh my god, yeah. Well, this is like where's Metal Gear Solid 4 is going to be the tricky one, right? Because that game has been trapped on the PlayStation 3 forever.
Yep.
I did see a great meme where it was Sony being like, yeah, Metal Gear Solid 4 is just too difficult to remake because of the PlayStation 3 cell architecture. And it's like, my brother in Christ, you built the architecture. Like this is your console. What are you talking about?
It's too hard.
Yeah, I mean but for like this so again the volume like the volume 1 collection I'm interested in somewhat. I want to have a look at the achievements because the other thing is that playing through those games on like European Extreme is rough. I am actually at the end of Metal Gear Solid 2 on Extreme. I'm at the I got through the Tengus. I'm at the Metal Gear Ray fight, and then you have to fight Solidus, and those two fights are rough. And I got completely smashed and never went back to it. But
yeah, I considered starting 3 on every platform and getting up to the fight where you have to fight the old sniper,
the end,
and then just going and just leaving the game and not finishing it for a year, and then coming back to all of them at the same time, like the Vita version, the Xbox version. So I'm like, maybe I should just.
But you miss out on the sniper rifle if you do it that way. No, you miss out on the camouflage. Anyway, and I want to get into it, but I love Metal Gear Solid 3. Yeah, so I think them remaking Snake Eater makes a lot of sense. Also because chronologically, it's the first one in the series. So them calling it like Metal Gear Solid Delta, I think potentially might be them being like, okay, yeah, but we're going to remake these games in the same way that they're, Capcom is remaking the Resident Evil games, but not necessarily. And so it might be like they do Snake Eater first, and then maybe they do Peace Walker, and then maybe they do 1, 2.
Yeah, it's
4?
actually there is another collection that they were talking about. Apparently, there's a separate classic collection, which might be the original, original
like Metal Gear 1 and 2.
Metal Gear 1 and 2.
Yeah.
So there's something about that in the wind as well.
Interesting.
So we'll see, but they are 100% do this in order, and that's good for them because they won't have to remake Metal Gear Survive for a very long time.
There's
Sure.
okay.
Sure.
There's not many games I would get excited for, but a remake of Metal Gear Solid 1 would be
Yeah, I mean, like the last time they did it was Twin Snakes for the GameCube, which was
Yep.
incredible.
This basically takes out the ownership of Kojima 100%. Like they remake everything, they don't have to credit anything to him.
Yeah, and also it's like, again, like I said, like they don't have to call this Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. They just call it Delta because it is technically the first one in the chronology, but it is the third one they brought out. So they could make whatever one they want. If they want to make Peace Walker next, they can just put Peace Walker in because it's the next one chronologically. They can probably skip 5 because 5 is probably recent enough they wouldn't want to remake it. Maybe, I don't know, it did technically come out on the 360, but yeah, it's an iffy one.
I mean, it's had the upgrades and patches though.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, like, and it does obviously run on the Xbox One, all that kind of stuff. But that is still, a 10-year-old machine at this point.
What if they went and finished the story?
Oh boy, that's the thing. Without Kojima, I couldn't see. Well, okay, look. If they remade it, they're like, hey, we're gonna update, we're gonna do like a remaster and the extra story stuff. I would buy that.
Yeah. I was listening to this Metal Gear thing the other day, and it was they were saying that the original premise of 5 was it was all supposed to be episodic chapters. Around when the Telltale and they were doing all their chapters and stuff like that.
That would have been really interesting.
That kind of died out, and that's why it's broken up, and that's why it was supposed to continue and actually be steady releases of content over time, which is why it was never finished. So,
I mean, to be fair, putting a timeline on Kojima is always, good luck. But anyway, yes, that's all to say that I'm very, very excited for Snake Eater. Again, this was a cinematic trailer. We didn't see any gameplay, but it looks fucking good. I am very curious about what they're going to do about voice lines because David Hayter is now 20 years on from doing this performance, and even in like Metal Gear Solid 4, he was sounding kind of rough.
They just need to pay for that service that he does where he says it in their voice. The cameo.
Yeah.
Metal Gear.
Yeah. Oh, just say these 500,000 lines for us.
Yeah, exactly. Yes. So now I need you to say Hein D. Oh man. I would love to talk about Metal Gear for ages because Metal Gear Solid 3 is like it is essentially like Kojima being like, hey, James Bond is pretty cool. Let's do one of those. Even with like complete with the song, like the Snake Eater song is in there. I really hope they have the ladder. Again, if you haven't played 3, if you played 3, you know what I'm talking about, but there is a ladder that just it's Kojima being a fucking wanker, but I absolutely love it because anyway, I don't want to ruin it because people do need to play through it. But anyway, yes. So I am excited. There's a lot of really good stuff coming. Again, I'm hoping we get some more dates and this stuff and we get a bit more timelines, but there's a lot that came out of this and I'm like, sweet.
12 games from a PlayStation.
Yeah, pretty fucking good.
All right. I gotta say, I absolutely love the fact that Xbox had these games are also coming to Xbox kind of stuff.
They had it ready.
They had it ready. They knew it. And then, as I was saying before the show, IGN went, all right, cut-offs are coming to Xbox, but put our information on it, post it on socials. And then Stein just immediately called him out, just like, hey, quote retweets are a thing,
Yeah.
Like, fucking...
Yeah.
Like,
good old games journalism, mate.
Bloody hell, IGN. I was just thinking before too, like, oh, we should just have like a 5-second slate in the showcase. Just like, hey, previously on.
Yeah, that would be pretty funny. Yeah.
Just like, hey, these. I imagine some of these games we might even get like a little bit of a deeper look or a, Metal Gear Solid. Maybe we get gameplay. I doubt it. Like, that's probably the worst example, but
yeah, I know what you mean though.
Yeah, we might get some kind of other trailer for these kind of games. But yeah, and I think talking about showcases, we'll wrap it up with 3 or 4 pretty big announcements are planned for Summer Game Fest live show. Summer Game Fest show and producer Jeff Keighley has teased plans for several high-profile announcements at this year's live kickoff show, billing itself as the global fan celebration of what's next in video games. It will return for its 4th year with a live event on June 8th. We're going to need predictions.
Elden Ring 2. No.
I would not be surprised if it was Elden Ring DLC.
Yeah, I could definitely see that. That would make a lot of sense.
That is coming, isn't it?
It is. They've announced it already, so I don't necessarily think it's like
It'll
that
be
would
like
be a good place to-
gameplay exclusive
or
kind
a
of.
trailer or something. Yeah, you know.
But 100%, Keighley will be able to capitalize on it because of Elden Ring getting Game of the Year last year.
Yep, and to be fair, they broke the trailer on that on the original one.
Yeah.
The original announcement trailer was on there as well.
To be fair though, Gollum wasn't, shown off.
That's fair. That's fair. That's actually you're right. You're 100% correct.
Wow. We do know that Mortal Kombat 1 gameplay footage is confirmed.
Oh, cool. Okay, that's good. Yeah,
so
I figured that would make sense. I
definitely-
predicted that last week.
Oh, I'm actually so keen for Mortal Kombat. Like, just with that DLC. I'm 100% soaked, and I told Nikita we're getting it day one. Actually, Nikita's already bought it day one for us. So
there you go. Yeah.
Safe. I don't know what else, like big reveals. When you say when you say big reveals, I just think Banjo-Kazooie. I know it's never going to happen.
No, because it would happen on the place. It would happen on the Xbox stage anyway.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's. I don't know. Like, is it Kojima's new project that he's working on, his Overdrive thing that got leaked a couple of years ago?
Oh,
Overdose. Sorry.
Yeah.
Yes. Could be that. I mean, again, it's kind of hard to say. Like an announcement could be anything from anyone.
Overdose did get shown last year, but it was essentially like, "Hey, we're working."
Yeah, well, yeah, it was literally just Kojima sitting there saying, "Hey, I'm working with Xbox on something."
Yeah, and then everybody went wild, and
everyone was like, "Yeah, we know you. They leaked it like a year ago, and you guys asked someone to take it down."
Yeah,
but
I think we'll see Armored Core gameplay, and everyone will be disappointed.
That's not a Soulsborne game for some fucking reason.
Armored Core is going to appeal to a very specific audience.
Yes, me.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be the game that, like, I don't think anyone's going to expect what Armored Core is actually supposed to be, because it will be for the hardcore audience, but everyone's going to expect it to be for everybody, and it's not going to be. So
yeah, there's been a lot of debate. Is like, is it a Souls-like game? Are they going to do to Souls game? Are they going to do to mech games what they did to, like, action RPGs, where it's like they change it up? And like maybe it might have some of the element in there, but like mechs are pretty fucking different. Like long range combat is very different from your standard, like even like Souls, like Sekiro style, melee, get up on that ass.
Yeah. Imagine the memes if they made it consumer friendly though. Soft core.
Armored Softcore. Now that is a spin-off that I would kickstart. Oh man.
I can't think of anything logical other than like Armored Core and Elden Ring DLC and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think like who would even be there. Like again, like there might be some indie stuff, but they're talking about like big announcements. So is this
Hades 2 gameplay? I don't know.
Yeah, could see that. Yeah. Are we talking like if we think about like publishers and what they kind of have in the fire at the moment, do we see? I'm thinking, is there anything from EA?
Actually, he had a list on Twitter, I'm pretty sure, of like who he was working this year.
Actually, I did see a rumor.
I didn't see that.
I did see a thing about Ubisoft's next Star Wars game. Apparently, like the one that the Division team were working on. Apparently, like actually being like not as far away as we thought.
Okay.
2023 partners. I've got a list here.
Cool. What do we got?
Activision, Amazon Games, Annapurna, Bandai Namco, Behavior, Capcom, CD Projekt Red, Devolver, Disney. I'm not quite sure. I don't recognize that logo. EA, Epic Games, Focus, Gearbox Publishing, Hoyoverse, Niantic, Nexon, Netflix, NeoWiz, Magic the Gathering, Level Infinite, Kabam, North Beach, Paradox, Pearl Abyss, Phoenix Labs, PlayOn, PlayStation, Pocket Pair, Razer, Samsung Gaming Hub, Sega, Square.
So everyone basically.
Yeah. Techland, Ubisoft. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be waiting for. I don't really have a lot of expectations because I don't really like. I feel like these last few years have really like kind of rocked things in terms of like what to expect from these kinds of announcements.
Some of these remakes, like I never would have expected Dead Space to be remade.
Yeah, to be remade. Yeah, I mean, even
yeah.
And like Metro Prime being remade as well was a complete surprise to me, which is like absolutely fantastic.
Nintendo held off for just long enough for Jeff Grubb to get that haircut.
Yeah. Yeah.
They screwed him so hard
they
on
did.
that.
That's so funny.
Somebody in the marketing team is just like, no, guys, we're just going to give you an extra 6
Hit the
months to
button.
polish.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they get complaints about doors anyway. So like, what's the matter at the end of the day?
That door's anyway. Yeah, I'm not even. Yeah. But yeah, like I
Right.
mean, I'm going to be watching the show for sure. Or at least I'll catch up on it if I miss it.
What's
depending on
your
timing.
not going to happen, but big like announcement?
I would love a new Legacy of Kain game. That's again, I say it every year. They need. They already, Crystal Dynamics. Is it Crystal Dynamics put out that survey a little while ago asking if people would be interested in a remake of the original games and or a sequel. They need to do a remake because again the series is old as fuck and most people don't even remember it. But Legacy of Kain is one of the video game reasons that I enjoy narrative in video games. Gameplay wise is good too, but
didn't embrace embrace and having problems.
There are a lot of issues with contracting and all kinds of stuff with. There's a whole promise issue that they had with the contracts and but along the same lines, I mean, I was leaning in on like more Tomb Raider and Perfect Dark stuff, really.
Yeah.
So, Perfect Dark
would be good to see something from Perfect Dark.
Yeah, which is basically between what you said, and it's all Crystal Dynamics, Legacy of Kain, Perfect Dark. They're working on that. I don't know who's doing Tomb Raider stuff now because it's owned by Amazon. So
true.
So they palmed that off. So,
Yeah, so I mean, like I'm just gonna be happy to have things to play, and I'm hoping that we get some announcements of stuff that's coming out in the next 6 months, which is what I'm interested in. But hey,
I've got one like Total Pipe Dream, not gonna happen, but I'd love it. The Darkness 3.
Hell yeah!
I want the Darkness. I want the Darkness 3 in the same style of the Darkness 1, or I want a Darkness 1 remaster.
I mean, like that era.
It's been that long enough now that it could do with a remaster, I reckon.
That era when those games came out, it was BioShock, The Darkness, and Prey.
Yeah.
Where they had they used this, I think they used like similar engine, very similar styling. And it was just like playing through those games, I was like, wow. I think they were all 2K games, actually, now that I think about it. BioShock and Darkness definitely were.
Prey.
Prey, I
didn't
for sure.
Along those kind of comic kind of lines, like Darkness is very comic book kind of.
The second one is particularly.
That brings me to something else. I think Amazon might actually own the Valiant comic line now, which is like the Shadow Man and the Hard Corpse and stuff like that, and Bloodshot. I reckon a lot of that could actually come back. If they're getting into games, they could really buy into a lot of that stuff. It would be really nice.
Okay.
I can see it.
Some of that's really dark. So
the Darkness,
I love Shadow Man.
The Darkness actually is a comic book series. I need to read it.
Yeah, it is. It's DC.
Yeah.
But now I've just completely.
Warner Brothers owns it now.
Possibly.
Maybe?
Good question.
Yeah, anyway.
But that's completely blown me off center. Invincible game.
Yeah, what? I mean, look, Omni-Man's going to be in Mortal Kombat. I think that's as much as we're going to get for a while.
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, like, we've been waiting on season 2 for like how.
Yeah, apparently there's going to be some news about it, but whatever, it's fine.
I'm pretty sure Robert Kirkman said that this is the pain period, and we will never have a gap as large as.
Good. Well, I guess because the first one was a proof of concept, right?
Yeah.
So fucking good. Anyway, so that's pretty much it for the news. Just an update on the word challenge. So Lefty ruined it for all of you by getting it on the second week. So fuck you, Lefty. But thank you, Lefty, because he did say that he wanted to. He didn't want the prize money. He wanted actually to donate back to us so we could use it for prizes. So we appreciate that. He's just in it to win it.
Prize.
Well, actually, yes. Well, to give it to whoever wins this one. So I will have a new clue for you guys next week because that's the turnover of the month, and that's when the Patreon money comes in, so I can afford to do the competition. So check that out. I will have I'm going to do something real fucking devious this time because I can't be having people winning that easily.
He's gonna get Kirby to set it up.
Yes, I'll get Kirby to set it up and give us all the clues.
And then we'll get to the week of the clues, not have the clues, and be like, just tune in next week.
Yeah, tune in next week. Exactly, that's the clue. The clue is tune in next week.
All right, Game Pass updates.
Yes, Game Pass updates, of course.
Cool. Actually, there's been a few at the end of the month that I've been excited for, like Planet Lana.
Yes.
I mean, that no Death Run, though.
We'll see. It looks like it's chapter by chapter, so...
Yeah, so it should be fun. Cassette Beast looks really good. I need to look at the achievement list. That's all I'm essentially waiting on, is just for the achievement list to decide on whether I'm going to play it or not. Massive Chalice was Games of Gold a few years ago, but now it's back to Game Pass. Railway Empire 2. I mean, you know me.
I'm good.
Yeah, just avoid any Railway games and DLC unless you plan to take a second mortgage out on your house.
Exactly.
May 30th, we have Fireward Pioneers and Chicory, A Colorful Tale. I will definitely be checking out Chicory because I have heard so many good things over the years.
Yep,
And June
100%.
1st, we have Slayer's X Terminal Aftermath Vengeance of the Slayer, which is recently just announced by No More Robots as one of their published games.
Yep.
And June 6th, we have Amnesia the Bunker, which hopefully won't get delayed again.
I was going to say, for the fourth time, yes.
Yep. Leaving into May, Lawnmower Sim, Evil Genius 2 World Domination, Floppy Knights Europa, Universalist 4, and FIFA 21. I think FIFA 21 has already been delisted as well.
Has it? Oh, yeah, because FIFA 20...
FIFA 23 got poured in.
Just got added,
Yeah, I think it has.
It might have been FIFA 20 or FIFA 21 got delisted.
Yeah, they've been
21,
really...
FIFA 21 is still in there, I think, till the end of the month. I'm pretty
They're
sure.
really brutal with that stuff at the moment.
Yeah.
So...
But yeah, if you're going to play anything, get Floppy Knights done. And then, just buy a lawn mowing simulator for your dad for Father's Day. And then
if you don't care about achievements, that game is fun. But if you do, that's the challenges make that a nightmare.
Man, I wish they could make lawn mowing fun in real life.
Yeah,
I might actually do it. But yeah.
But again, thank you to our patrons. I just want to give a shout out to patreon.com/HallOfGamers. Shout out to our patrons who allow us to do the show. Without you guys, we couldn't afford to do things like hosting the show on BuzzFeed.
Buzzsprout.
BuzzFeed.
Wow.
10 hot to anyway.
Yeah,
you won't believe number 6. And also like paying for Zoom, paying for competitions, paying for equipment, all that kind of stuff. We greatly appreciate it. We put all the money that we make from the show straight back into it. But so a huge shout out to Lee Howard, Mikhail KV, Natolinator, Firehawk, Mad Lefty, Admiral Awesome, Keo, Happy Moogles, Kung Fu Skills, Hack and Pone, Cavalier 07, Old May Clown, Mark B, and McLovin Legend. And I guess that's probably going to kind of bring us towards the end of the show. If you want to come see us live each week on Twitch, it's Xbox Hall of Gamers is the place to find us. Like we said at the top of the show, come hang out with us in our community. You can be like Kiku or MGB Live or Allison or Zach. Come in here and just shit post and ask questions. We appreciate all the community support. Otherwise, you can contact us in other ways. Email us at hallofgamerspodcasts@gmail.com or at hallofgamerspod on Twitter. Leave us a review, tell your friends. Word of mouth, as always, is huge for us. And if you'd like to guest on the show, we want to get as many community members as we can on here to give their opinions because we love talking about video games. Let us know, and we'll book you in for a time. We're relatively flexible when it comes to like Fridays and Saturdays. Most weeks. Again, we are still adults with lives that we kind of have to plan the show around. So
some of us have children, and some of us act like children. We'll let you
That's true. That's true. You can figure it out. Some of us do both. I'm not naming any names. Cameron. Yes, Cameron.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about what the fuck's going on, where you want to be found, do your shilling.
I am probably going to be... Actually, how much can I say? I'm going to be busy over the next few weeks. I'll be here next week. When the E3 stuff starts to drop, I might be a little bit busy. I'm very excited for FanFest. To go to Melbourne, take Nikita alongside with me for that. Should be fun. Definitely love going to Fortress. Also have a Rogue Ally coming that week as well, so I can start experimenting Steam games on there. Because, it's just a glorified Steam Deck.
Yep.
That I can classify as a tax expense. And yeah, pretty much just, playing city builder games at the moment.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Kia,
Cool.
what about you?
Yeah, so you can catch me over at Twitter at Kia Live at Home. Same for streaming on Twitch and actually Twitch for Kia Live at Home. I'm actually going to be doing a bit more experimenting where I can with a few things. I'm going to start doing actually my next stream game's probably going to be Wolong, but
Oh yeah.
mostly because the other one I want to do is a PlayStation game. Since I got the VR headset.
Okay, let's cut his mic. Can we
Hey.
cut his? Can we just? I think we're just.
I'm gonna.
I
Yeah,
can cut
I'm
everybody's mic.
gonna do Resident Evil 7 most likely in VR.
Cool.
But I need to get like a lav mic and all that kind of
Right.
shit.
Yeah.
So there's a few things going on, experimenting on the side, and then you can catch those VODs over at HTFG Play on YouTube. So plus guides, go see my Redfall guide. Go.
Yes, definitely go check that out.
Play Redfall maybe. Sometime.
Yeah. If you unfortunately have played Redfall, use Kia's guide. It's great.
Yeah. You probably got stuck with the Gravelocks and you don't know which one it is because there's no way to know. So use my guide.
What an absolute nightmare of a video game.
Why do we have game design like in 2023 that feels like Assassin's Creed 1? Like why?
Yeah, exactly. And for me, as always, I'm Neomaster on everything, True Achievements, Discord, and Xbox. If you want to catch up with me for some reason or another, Discord's probably the best way to find me. I don't stream or anything. This is the only social interaction I get. But
or posting get head in Discord. I just saw that. I'm just like, no.
Very funny. It's very funny. I mean, it said give bread. What are you talking about? Anyway, that's going to wrap up. I got the title for this week. That's going to wrap up episode 80 of the Xbox Call of Gamers podcast. We will catch you guys next week. See you later.
Bye, everyone.
All right, catch you around.